In the minds of millions of fans, the name Barry Gibb has always been associated with the image of a composed elder brother, his trademark curly hair, and the falsetto voice that became an icon in music history. But before becoming a knight of music, Barry was simply a boy growing up on the windswept Isle of Man, where music was not a means of making a living, but a sacred bond that united the Gibb family. Born in 1946 into a family where both parents, Hugh and Barbara Gibb, were artists deeply passionate about rhythm, Barry learned to love music through the simplest sounds filling their modest home. It was the unconditional support of his parents that laid the foundation for him and his younger twin brothers, Maurice and Robin, to create the harmonies that would later earn the admiration of the entire world. From tiny stages in Australia, where the three brothers struggled to find opportunities, to packed stadiums across America, the journey of the Bee Gees was a modern-day legend. They not only dominated the disco era with Saturday Night Fever, but also established themselves as gifted songwriters, contributing to the success of icons such as Barbra Streisand, Diana Ross, and Dolly Parton. Yet that success never came easily. Behind the awards and the praise stood a Barry Gibb who constantly questioned the true nature of fame. At the age of 79, looking back on more than 60 years in the music industry, he remembers not only the songs, but also the companions, the legends of his generation, who shared both the brightest and darkest chapters of the music world with him. Among them was one name for whom he always held a special admiration, Cliff Richard. If Barry Gibb is a towering tree in music history, then its roots had to push through layers of pain beyond imagination. To the public, the Bee Gees represented glamour, sparkling suits beneath disco lights, and worldwide success. But to Barry, their story was one of losses that could never truly be replaced. Barry was the eldest brother, the keeper of the flame, the guide. But he was also the one forced to watch each of the people he loved most leave this world. The death of his youngest brother, Andy Gibb, in 1988, at the age of 30, was the first fracture. Barry did not simply lose a brother. He lost a future full of promise that he had devoted so much of himself to nurturing. The loss struck him like a blade to the heart, teaching him that the glow of the stage means very little when confronted with the fragility of life. But tragedy was not finished with him. In 2003, his twin brother Maurice, the man who had shared every note and every rise and fall since childhood, passed away suddenly. Maurice's death felt as though half of Barry's soul had been taken from him. He later admitted that after Maurice died, everything around him seemed meaningless, including music itself, which had once been his very breath. Then in 2012, when Robin also left this world, Barry became the last remaining Gibb brother. The experience of becoming the one left behind is a burden difficult to describe. In the years that followed, Barry often found himself drifting emotionally. He frequently spoke about moments on stage when, as the music began, he could still sense Maurice's presence on his right and Robin's on his left. It was not an illusion. It was the enduring spiritual connection between three brothers, woven together through harmonies that only they could fully understand. It was in that loneliness at the summit of success that Barry Gibb learned to accept grief as part of life itself. He never hid the scars on his soul. Instead, he allowed them to deepen the emotional richness of his voice. The songs he wrote in later years were no longer lively party anthems, but reflective personal confessions. Barry transformed tears into lasting legacies. He became a survivor, a witness to history, carrying the responsibility of preserving the story of the Bee Gees for future generations. And in that search for understanding among the remaining survivors of his era, the name Cliff Richard emerged as a warm light, a kindred spirit, who understood the price of continuing to live after so many farewells. In the life of a major star, the spotlight often conceals the private corners of existence. But for Barry Gibb, his journey through love was a transformation from youthful impulsiveness to the profound calmness of a soul that had experienced every kind of triumph and hardship. His first marriage to Maureen Bates in 1966, when Barry was only 20 years old, was like a passing wind. It was a time when the Bee Gees were beginning to taste success, and the world seemed to be opening at the feet of an ambitious young man. However, the immense pressure of constant touring, geographical separation, and youthful inexperience caused the marriage to collapse after only 4 short years. It became a painful early lesson about how fame can crush fragile relationships. But life seemed to compensate Barry with its greatest gift in 1970, the arrival of Linda Gray. If his first marriage was a hurried chapter, Linda's arrival was like still water after a violent storm. Linda was not a woman drawn to fame. She never sought the spotlight. To Barry, she was the only person who could see the man beneath the cloak of a pop star, a sensitive, vulnerable individual carrying countless worries and fears. Throughout 56 years together, Linda Gray was not merely his wife. She was the person who kept Barry's mind from drifting away amid the deadly temptations of the 1970s, an era when drugs and self-destructive lifestyles lay in wait for countless artists. When the tragedies of losing his brothers struck, it was Linda who helped pull him out of the depths of depression. She never demanded that he be strong. She simply remained there, patient and quiet, like an anchor preventing the ship of his life from being swallowed by violent seas. Their family, with 5 children, became a rare example within the entertainment industry, where lasting loyalty is often regarded as a luxury. Linda was the person who helped Barry understand that hit records might take him to the top of the world, but only family could provide a place where he could check out of the exhausting hotel of fame and return to the truth of who he really was. The strength and stability of that relationship gave Barry the peace of mind necessary to reflect upon other relationships throughout his career, including his quiet friendship with Cliff Richard. For more than half a century, while many artists publicly showcase their relationships in the media, the friendship between Barry Gibb and Cliff Richard existed as a fascinating mystery. At the age of 79, looking back on the chapters of his life, Barry Gibb finally chose to break that silence, not through a dramatic declaration, but through a thoughtful reflection on what truly matters in a glamorous yet ever-changing world. Fans have often asked the question, between 2 of the most powerful and successful figures in British music, was there a genuine friendship or merely professional diplomacy between stars? Barry explained that his relationship with Cliff Richard was not like an ordinary friendship in which people call each other every day. They were not companions at every social gathering, nor were they constantly appearing side by side in the headlines. Yet, to Barry, Cliff Richard was a lighthouse. He admitted that during the years when the Bee Gees were swept up in the whirlwind of fame, Cliff's way of life served as an example that often gave him pause for thought. Cliff Richard was the man who convinced Barry that an artist could reach the highest levels of success, becoming an icon admired by millions, while still maintaining integrity, morality, and genuine kindness. In an industry that often treats rebellion as a catalyst for fame, Cliff remained steadfast in his faith, his measured lifestyle, and his sincerity. The respect between them was not built on the glamour of the stage, but on the mutual understanding shared by survivors. Both men had witnessed contemporaries pass away, both had experienced the harsh passage of time and the constant evolution of musical tastes. Cliff was a pioneer, a man who proved to the world that British artists could dominate international charts without sacrificing their principles or chasing every passing trend. Between them existed a respectful distance, a space where there was no competition, no scrutiny, only recognition of one another's achievements. Barry regarded Cliff as part of a living legacy that he was fortunate to stand alongside. His reflections at the age of 79 were not merely intended to answer speculation. They were a tribute to a fellow artist, a man whom he genuinely considered a good person in the truest sense of the phrase. Their connection was not built on glamour, but on kindness, the rarest quality in the world of stars. The bond between Barry Gibb and Cliff Richard extends beyond admiration of character. It is also rooted in the deep understanding shared by 2 of the last survivors of a musical era that has long passed. At an age when most performers have chosen retirement, the fact that both men still stand on stage and continue to sing with all their hearts is something they regard as a miracle granted only to the fortunate. Barry Gibb admires Cliff Richard for a quality he considers exceptionally courageous: steadfast faith. Over the decades, Cliff has often been mocked by sections of the media and labelled by critics as overly clean-cut or excessively religious, within an industry that frequently celebrates excess. Yet Cliff never wavered. He remained true to his personal identity and continued to defend the values in which he believed. Barry saw in Cliff a reflection of himself, a man who had also struggled to preserve his core principles while navigating the storms of fame. Their musical philosophies also reveal a remarkable sense of harmony. Both Barry and Cliff grew up in an era when music was created from the soul, through the blending of real instruments and meaningful lyrics. In a modern musical landscape filled with technological intervention and elaborate production techniques, both men remained committed to the belief that authentic music must come from the heart. When Barry speaks of Cliff, he speaks of someone who never gave up. To Barry, Cliff is not a star who has faded with time, but a good man. A person who never surrendered to the pressure of changing his nature simply to satisfy temporary trends. It is a bond of understanding between men of the same generation, individuals who have watched friends and colleagues gradually leave this world, and who understand that still being able to sing and connect with audiences at the age of 79 is a sacred privilege. They do not need to be close friends in everyday life to understand one another. Their connection exists in the music, in the years they have lived through, and in the way they have chosen to face the world. It is a bond forged through kindness, a legacy that will continue to exist long after neither of them stands on a stage again, serving as proof that fame may fade, but character and sincerity endure through time. In Barry's eyes, Cliff Richard is the symbol of a man who never gives up, an example of how to remain grounded amid the storms of fame. When Barry describes Cliff as a good man, he places upon his fellow artist a distinction more valuable than any musical award. It is recognition between equals, between people who have experienced enough triumph and disappointment to understand that in the end, the only thing that truly lasts is kindness. The journey of Barry Gibb and Cliff Richard demonstrates that kindness can endure even within the ever-changing world of entertainment. What do you think about the quiet friendship and mutual respect shared by these two music legends? In today's noisy and fast-moving world, do we still preserve authentic values in the way they have for more than half a century? If this story of kindness and steadfastness has moved you, please subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you can join us as we continue exploring the meaningful life stories behind music's greatest icons. Thank you for being with us today.